Janelle de Villiers and Sarah van der Merwe would share the front row of the starting grid, leading former Audi teammates Terry Moss and Chris Aberdeen, plus Glenn Hall and Jeff Mortimer. Dark storm clouds hung over Kyalami as the celebrities lined up for their opening race. Even with combined racing experience of around 250 years, there were still fluttering nerves on the grid.
Race 1 coming up, 6 laps, the Grand Prix circuit at Kyalami. A good start there by Janelle de Villiers. Off pole position, we go on board with Terry Moss. Already the bumping is starting. Onto his side comes Chris Aberdeen, right alongside his mirror and or his door. It's not going to be too long there, the mirror will be off. As they come down to the first left hand of the S's. Look at them bumping already, and we've only done 200 metres on their way up to Nasha.
A lot of hard contact between Aberdeen and Moss. Moss has fought his way through. He had to get super physical to hang on, and he slots himself up into third place. Just in front of him, Sarah van der Merwe, the second placed man in qualifying, and unfortunately, these guys have got tangled way too early, and Janelle de Villiers has pulled the plug straight away on lap number 1.
But he's got some very determined boys on his tail. Here they come, left-hand side, Terry Moss, Sarah van der Merwe on the right, going into the corner first. There's Aberdeen now with a Conti sponsored car. These are cars that were designed 31 years ago by Giugiaro, and here they are still at good handlers, good performance. They've got 74 kilowatts of power. They've got a 5-speed box. They haven't got power steering, and look how well they handle and how well they are driven.
And they're going to be a collector's item pretty soon. I heard on the radio they're going to stop manufacture of these CitiGolf, so they're going to be collector's items pretty soon.
They've made 517,000 of them. We've all driven these cars. We've hired them. These are, in fact, ex-rental cars they got back. No special treatment, a racing seat, a harness and a roll cage, and we're racing and doing very, very good times and being driven some of the icons of South African motorsport. They are three-wheeling through the top corner. That's Sarah van der Merwe giving that car a workout, the little CitiGolf, and getting a real jump on them is Janelle de Villiers. While they were bumping and bashing, he's just gone ahead. Are they going to be able to catch him?
Fastest man in qualifying, fastest man on track at the moment. Don't count out Sarah van der Merwe though. He is getting away from Terry Moss. 1, 2 and 3, they're pretty safe. Aberdeen though, he's coming under pressure. He's in 4th, and there's just a freight train queuing up behind him.
Absolutely, just behind him. 10 is Jeff Mortimer. 2 is Glenn Hall. That's Jeff Mortimer, his previous father-in-laws. They come out of this corner and go up to the street. You just lift. No, here. They go through here flat out, across the curb. And now they're sending for the last corner on the left. It's a 90-degree left hand. Look at this. When you're in the car, it's just a hum. When it's outside, it is squealing Conti tires. It's cars out of control. There's Jeff Mortimer. There's Glenn Hall. Hubbing is in the picture as well, going sideways in every corner.
Watch out for the number 2 car of Glenn Hall. He's getting to grips with this track, and at lap number 3, he is turning up the pace. 1, 2 and 3 then. Let's review. Janelle de Villiers leads over Sarah van der Merwe, then Terry Moss, Aberdeen. Then we go back to the number 10 car, and that is Mortimer. He's got himself away, and then we go back and pick up on a new battle.
Yeah, there's a big battle there going on. Yanni Hubbig, that white car's getting it sideways. There's Sarah getting closer. Look at these cars, the tortured tires. These are standard treaded tires, and they are giving it everything. Moss has got a big job if he's going to catch Sarah. The 2 white cars, 2nd and 3rd. Van der Merwe and Terry Moss. It's Janelle de Villiers under threat from Sarah van der Merwe.
I've got to say, I've been observing Sarah's style over the last 2 races with these cars. He really doesn't give an inch. He doesn't care mechanically about it. He throws it in the corner. I don't know what he'd say. It must just hold, eh?
Yeah, you've got to do that. And amongst the press guys, we've got Dennis Dropper. There he is now, and on his tail, Stephen Mearns. Editor of Star Motoring in the blue car behind him, Stevie Mearns. He's got a website, and it's for the honour of the guild they are racing as they go into this corner. Dropper in the inside notes, Dropper on the outside. Mearns almost rubbing wheels. They come out there, and they look, the whole lot of them, they've got egos, they've got reputation. Here's the leaders. Van der Merwe has caught him. We've got 2 or 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go, and Sarah van der Merwe, the white car, is starting to rub shoulders there with Janelle de Villiers, who doesn't give an inch.
This is what we want. It's 1 and 2 in qualifying, 1 and 2 on the track, and look at that, not giving an inch at all. Van der Merwe swings it out wide. He's going to try and cut back as they go into sunset. It's going to get very, very difficult. These last couple of laps, they're just going to be trying to hold each other off every time. Watch out for Janelle de Villiers. He's changed his line. He has to go defensive for the next 2 laps. Here's one man you don't want to have to defend against.
Absolutely. He's coming. He's got his own lines. When he's determined, he goes his own way. A little bit of rain coming into the windscreen of Terry Moss's car. They're the 2 fighting it out in front. They are not even braking there for Clubhouse Corner. They just throw it in and let the car slow down on the tires, using a bit of the curb. Coming out here as they head up the West Bank corner. You can see it's a blind corner. These guys are lapping at 2 minutes 17 in any car. That's the slippery flag. Means the surface is slippery. Does it worry these 2? Here comes Van der Merwe. he's going to do? Is he going to give? He's selling him a dummy.
Cuts back, climbs the curb, climbs all the curb. That was all four wheels up on the grass and forces Janiel de Villiers wide. That is a sketchy move, but that is classic. Cyril van der Merwe goes into the lead.
He's got a lead now, but he's got de Villiers right on his tail. Look at this, the speed. Don't try this on the roads at home. Three-wheeling through the sweep there at 160 k's and 100 mile an hour. De Villiers now going to slingshot in the inside. He's going to get the drive. As he comes out, Cyril's going to close the door on him for sure.
No, classic cutback. He didn't come across early enough. And down into turn number 13, it's de Villiers. Just forces a little bit of space up the inside. Even has to turn back in on himself, and he's going to lead through the corner. This is super physical action.
This is real action, I've got to say. And Stephen Mearns has got ahead of Dennis Drummond and lost it. He's lost it big time. No, he's held on to his position. He threw it into that corner flatter. Here we are, de Villiers in the front there. Just a couple of corners to go. The flag's inside in front of him. He's got to have another go to him. He's got his own lines. He's going to try across the curb again.
Remember, Rog, this is the wettest part of the circuit. Up on top here. This gets the rain the most and the earliest out of everyone. Van der Merwe again, all the entire car up on the dirt on the inside, and there was no room that time. De Villiers was wise to the move, and he's just going to be covering his lines the whole way through. Half a lap remains.
I think that Cyril thought he'd use some motocross lines to get more grip on the grass, which doesn't happen. Here he comes. Look at that three-wheeling, sliding. What control he's got. De Villiers is now looking in his mirrors. He sees Cyril right in his tail. He's got to hold him off. He gets a bit of a bump. Puts him onto three wheels.
Holds it super tight though. Again, he's covered that line going into turn number 13. Cyril is going to have to go for a do or die into the final turn. Turn 14 into Vodacom, and he is a Fender trailer right now.
There's going to be a trailer. Do or die. Here he comes. Going to be hard on the brakes. Here he comes on the inside. He locks his wheels. He's going to get it to the line. No, he's over brake there, and de Villiers on the inside has got the drive out of the corner. Here he comes to the line, and he's going to win it by 0.3 of a second. What a motor race with these CitiGolfs.
Janiel de Villiers beat Cyril van der Merwe to the finish line by just 0.2 of a second, with Terry Maas another 3 seconds adrift in the third place. Afterwards, we asked Cyril van der Merwe why he got beaten by a youngster.
Well, I had quite a bad start, so the first half of the race I had to catch up to Janiel. And then when I got there, he's not the easiest guy in the world to pass. I got past, I think, on 3 occasions, but then he retook me. So it was a hell of a dance right to the end, right to the flag. But it was huge fun. I really enjoyed every second of it.
A typical high-felt thunderstorm-drenched Kyalami just minutes before the start of the second Citi Celebrity race, and the rain was still falling hard as the drivers set off on their warm-up lap. If nothing else, the wet and slippery conditions met with the full approval of the various rally drivers on the grid.
Deja vu. A couple of weeks back in Cape Town, the second race was wet. Now we've got a wet one in Kyalami, and all sorts of problems for Janiel de Villiers, just lighting the thing up, spinning, standing still on the line, and that was Cyril van der Merwe and Terry Maas trying to get around him.
Here's Cyril going down to the first right-hander, and who's coming up at his left-hand side? You can hear a car. Here he comes, as Chris Aberdeen. He won the first race they had down in Cape Town. Boy, in what condition. The weather gods, we say, are throwing everything at Terry Maas is on his tail as they go through, giving those cars a big workout. As we say, 517,000 of these been built, and they are still looking good. They're still great handers.
Big sideways moment from Maas. He lifted ever so slightly, and the back end of this very light car just broke loose. It's still breaking loose, and he is hanging on to second place. But watch out for Cyril van der Merwe. He now comes through into second. Don't count out Terry Maas, though. In wet weather, he is king.
And here comes Janiel de Villiers. He's right there as well. He's come up to, third position. He just comes through past Maas. He's just recovering from that little moment he had. He nearly threw it into the wall. Here he comes. He's going to tap him. He doesn't tap Janiel de Villiers, or does he? No, he doesn't. They're just feeling the ground, feeling the wet surface. What are they going to do as they get on the brakes here for the left-handed clubhouse? Here they come. It's Janiel de Villiers in the inside. And to have a look, Chris Aberdeen is getting away from them. He won in Cape Town. He might do it again.
De Villiers then looking strong in third place, recovering from that wheel spin. Remember, the tyres they're running, standard road-going Continental tyres.
Yeah.
Not specific rain weather, but what you and I drive as well.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's the things, they move a lot of water and they get an incredible grip on this road. Here we go now, it's just ahead of him, he's got Janiel de Villiers lining up those others in front is Aberdeen, and it's Cyril van der Merwe. Cyril van der Merwe on the inside in the white cars. You're going to use that unusual line across the grass. Is he going to do it this time?
No, he keeps it on the tarmac pretty mostly anyway. You don't want to get up the inside, up West Bank in these conditions, because it's just going to be mud and it's going to be wheel spinning, but he's got a good good inside line, driving down the West Bank mineshaft. Top 4 drivers getting away from the rest of the field now.
And have a look there also, Yanni Habik there, the 6-time South African Rally champion. Look at that, 4 of them slipping and sliding, 4-wheel drifting as they come towards us. 3 abreast. Here we go now. Sorrel van der Merwe, basing on the inside. He's got someone on his right. That's Aberdeen. We've got somebody
Aberdeen,
left. It's Moss.
then he gets sandwiched. Everyone, contact everywhere. Moss is on the outside, comes back onto the track. Sorrel van der Merwe straight into him.
Wow.
That was a bit like flat out in third gear there. Had nowhere to go. And the 2 contenders that looked like they were going to set this track alight in the wet have popped it on the side.
Absolutely. Oh, what a pity. And there's Habik. We spoke about going sideways. He was always known as sideways Habik. He did it in Skylines. He's done it in BP Rally Polos, and he's doing it in CitiGolf as well. Green flags out, keep racing, men. And Sorrel not looking happy, but he had no option there. He had nowhere to go. And in fact, Moss came with a very lame thigh, and it turns out that the wallet was in the pocket and gave him a lame in his thigh. Can you believe it?
Must have been all the credit cards in his pocket, but that was a big hit, you've got to say.
Back on the track, we've had positions, chopping and change. They all get. Here's Jeff Mortimer now on his tail. He's got Glyn Hall, his former son-in-law. And here we go. Herken Fecken going for his rally championship, which now has been spun there by number 2, Glyn Hall. Oh dear. And he's doing so well. He's lying 3rd and 4th there. Mortimer's in the picture as well.
Roger, you know what's so good is when these guys look like they're about to lose it, they can hold it. You can see all the rally skills just pouring through out of these guys.
The car control is fantastic. Thinking that they are standard tyres, they are standard hand, they've done nothing to the handling of these cars, no special. And look at Yanni Habik sideways as we look at that for control, man.
It's just insane. I mean, he's hanging the back end out. It looks like an all-wheel drive car. That is a front-wheel drive car, and it is wagging around as if he's drifting through a dirt corner.
Absolutely. Here they come down there. There's Mortimer. We've got number 2's Glyn Hall right alongside him trying to get past. We've got Yanni Habik just behind him. There's Janelle de Villiers in the front. Aberdeen is in 2nd position. This race is far from over. Anything can happen. It's starting to spit with rain. You can see the wipers are working. Mortimer comes through in the red car with the champion colours on the side.
Glyn Hall gets a little bit loose coming out of the Go GPSs, and it's actually got a good line there because now with the rain coming down, that little river is forming at the bottom of that corner, and there is grip around the outside. So watch out for Glyn Hall. He's going to get a good run up onto the West Bank corner.
And Yanni Habik, the car in the background, that white one, he's still giving the crowd a great show. Here's Glyn Hall trying to sort himself out around Mortimer. Jeff Mortimer's doing a great job in this. He hasn't been in a racing car for probably 10 years. Most of these guys haven't. They raced at the beginning of the century. Here they come. Here's Janelle de Villiers in the front. He's got a great lead. It's about, look at Aberdeen. He's losing it. He's locked the wheels. Oh,
it looked like he was going to recover from that one, but with this wet weather, he's turned, really tried to correct it. I think I'd have gone spinning around about 5 times. He only goes twice, but he has dropped out. He was in 2nd place.
Oh,
he had that wrapped up. He was around about 5 seconds off the back of the leader. As you can see, the 2 cars from a previous crash there parked on the side.
Absolutely. And Herken Fecken's gone to 2nd position. We've got a lap and a wee bit to go of this action. Has happened on every corner. Here comes Herken Fecken. And here come the others. Mortimer on the right-hand side. Glyn Hall has been trying to find a way past him on every single corner. Mortimer knows how to make even a little CitiGolf wide. Here they come now. It's still Mortimer holding on, and Glyn Hall is trying the scenic route.
He's got it, you know. He's got it. He kept the power down the whole way around the outside. So finally, Glyn Hall just throws caution to the wind. And I don't think he's taken his foot off the gas the whole way around this track. He's got it buried.
Yes, I don't think he puts the brakes on. And I think he's losing his car's Fecken, has he? No, he's hung on to it, as you say, the car control, but he's got Glyn Hall. We've got a lap, 4.2 Ks to go, and anything can happen. Here they come now.
This is the battle for 2nd place, then. It is all in the cards. Remember, this 1st place battle is really wrapped up. Janelle de Villiers, he got himself away when that gap opened up midway through the race. Sorrel van der Merwe and Terry Moss taking each other out and having to park it, and now 2nd place is up for grabs. The man on the move and on a mission is Glyn Hall.
Absolutely. I mean, these are all ralliers. Glyn Hall is a rally champion in Volkswagen the first time. I think a front-wheel drive ever won the championship. He's hunting him down. Fecken won his South African rally title in his BP Polo. Here he is. Look at him getting inside. Who's going to lose? Glyn going to nail him? No.
Oh, Glyn almost drove into the side of him. But you see the actual approach line that Glyn Hall used as well. All 4 wheels on the dirt going into the S's. These guys don't care if they're racing circuits. They want to ride on the dirt. They love it. Again, Glyn Hall going to sweep around the outside and keep it buried the whole way through West Bank corner.
Herken is leading a charmed life there. He looks in his right-hand mirror. There's Glyn Hall there. He looks in the left, looks in the middle. Glyn Hall is there and worrying him all the way. Here comes Janelle de Villiers.
We're waiting for the number 2 battle to come through here. It's going to be side by side. Glyn Hall, he's got the job done. He got it round the outside.
Oh, and Fecken's lost it. Terrible. He just slid himself almost to a spin. And Jeff Mortimer's coming past him as well. Here comes Jeff. He goes into third. Heken Fecken's going to be fourth in this race. We've got Habig behind going sideways everywhere. And here's the winner, Janelle de Villiers, a double for the day. He wins it by just on 6 seconds. And now he's off to Beijing to compete in the Race of Champions with the likes of Michael Schumacher.
Janelle de Villiers' second victory of the day was more decisive. After surviving the horrendous conditions the best, as a Dakar Rally winner should, he won from Glyn Hall by 6 seconds. As others debated their adventures, second place Glyn Hall spoke to us.
I think the rain helped us because everybody was sort of scratching for a bit of grip out there, but it was really great fun. I had my window broken on lap 3 because somebody went off just in front of me and threw some rocks through it, so that I had to pick the glass out of that. But it was great. I mean, I was really going well, so I had fun.